Tensions ran high in Kansas City this weekend as a pair of 2014 postseason opponents squared off. Overshadowed in the series was that some good baseball was played. Although the Athletics dropped 2 of 3, they showed they can't compete versus the American League elite. Tonight, the scene shifts to Southern California as the A's and the Angels hook up for the first time here in 2015. The Halos are the defending AL West champs, and Bob Melvin and the boys will try to disrupt their plans to repeat as division champs. Game 1 of 4, A's-Angels, next.
We are at Angel Stadium of Anaheim on a beautiful night for baseball in Southern California. Kendall Graveman and the Athletics set to take on the Angels, the first of 19 matchups between these two teams this year. A's-Angels, first of 4 here in Anaheim, coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, the Angels, believe it or not, are struggling offensively, but Mike Trout is not. He's the one guy that is hot and a unanimous MVP last year, and he's such a terrific player, Ray. Even though he plays for the opposition, he is a lot of fun to watch.
Kuiper, you know, with Derek Jeter retiring, I think he might be the face of baseball, at least in the American League. He's such a nice kid. He plays all around. About 100 home runs at 23. I mean, just a phenomenal start for him in his 4th season. Just a great outfielder as he robs another one in Seattle of a home run. He does that regularly, jumping up over the fence and bringing back home runs. And then what does he do? He goes opposite field with another home run. The complete package. Angels signed him up for a long time, for a lot of money, deservedly, because he deserves every penny he got.
All right, so Kendall Graveman is going to face this Angels lineup, see if the sinker ball is working. His last start, he got his first Major League win.
And the sinker ball was working against the Astros. You can see a much different pitcher against the Astros than he did at the Coliseum against the Rangers. Working both sides of the plate with a sinker. Got some ground balls. How about this one? Right back to him. Turns a double play. Remember his first start, he threw the ball in center field on a pickoff. He really has done a great job. If the sinker is working, he gets the ground balls. It's exactly what the A's want.
And the Angels will send Matt Shoemaker. Good story there. We'll talk about him. He will take them out. So a couple of right-handers tonight in game 1 of this series. And 2 good teams that are trying to get on an early season roll. See if either team can do it in this series. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to the Big A.
Altena, California, is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code SLIDER for free entry.
So it's the third and final stop on this road trip for the Athletics. Anaheim, California, as the Angels, dressed in their all-white uniforms, red trim, take the field. There's Matt Shoemaker. He's the starting pitcher for tonight. Game Time Weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Admission free. Visit online for park hours at beachboardwalk.com. Beautiful night. 65 degrees, a nice light breeze. So early enough in the summer that not a lot of humidity, and it's a very, very comfortable night. Cool off nicely as the ball game goes on. Let's look at the lineup tonight for your Oakland Athletics. Starts with Sam Fuld in center. Mark Canha will be in left. Stephen Vogt moves up to the third spot, and then Billy Butler to DH. Ike Davis at first. Reddick in right, he'll hit sixth. Laurie at third, he'll hit seventh. And then Sogard eighth and Simeon ninth.
And it's the right hitter, Matt Shoemaker. Not a job he did last year for the Angels. Garrett Richards came back yesterday. He had a phenomenal season until he hurt his knee. This young man, though, did a very good job making his third start. He's 2-0. Relies mostly on movement as he's not really overpowering with his fastball. He does have the assortment of pitches, and that a lot of times is exactly what it takes. So tonight you might see some ground balls from both pitchers, Graveman and Shoemaker, for the Angels.
Look at the defense for the Angels. Matt Joyce coming over to trade from the Rays. He's in left field. Trout in center. Cole Calhoun in right. Freese, Ibar, Giovatella, and Pujols are your infielders, with Chris Iannetta doing the catching. So the defense, Shoemaker has finished his warm-up tosses, and we are ready to roll from the Big A. So our first look at the Angels this year. A's come in 6-7. And they're 3-3 on this current road trip. The Angels are 5-7, and this is their fourth home game of the year. Their first three home games, they got swept by the Kansas City Royals to open up the season. So Sam Fuld is ready. So is Shoemaker. First pitch a bit outside. So we're underway. 7:08 local time. Fuld, Canha, and Vogt, the top three hitters in the A's lineup. Shoemaker, a strike thrower, does not walk a lot of guys, but he falls behind 2-0. 16th season for Mike Scioscia.
How about that?
Longest tenured manager in the majors.
Seems like he was just catching for the Dodgers what seems like just yesterday, and getting run over at home plate consistently.
Well, did you see the note today? Yep. On this date in 1980, Mike Scioscia, his first big league at bat, and he got a hit.
Yeah. He also, with the counterpart across the diamond, and Bob Melvin, these are two of the 15 catchers managing Major League Baseball in this 2015 season.
So a 4-pitch walk to Sam Fuld. There's the skipper, Bob Melvin.
I can't believe the skipper said, when he was talking to Scioscia, and I walked by and I said, well, there's two of the 15. He said, well, it would take a catcher to say that. That's pretty good. I mean, A.J. Hinch, they were just in Houston. There's another one. So there's three.
Ned Yost.
And Kansas City just saw him. Well, 4-pitch walk, that's unusual, but the A's will take it. The leadoff hitter.
And here's Canha. That one is a strike. So Shoemaker finds the strike zone. Canha was 1 for 7 in that series in Kansas City.
So, Kipe, we should not pay attention to Mark Wegner, the home plate umpire, if you want to find out a strike call, because he's got a delay. That was slow. I mean, it looked like it's down the middle, and yet his arm took forever to. They say it down on the field. Of course, we always say that. The hitter can hear it, catcher can hear it.
They're not thinking about us.
Never do.
Here's Mark Wegner. Marty Foster at first. Mike Malinsky at second. Mike Winters at third. So Mark, Marty, Mike, and Mike.
How about that?
Yeah.
4 M's.
The law firm. touch high. 1-1 the count. Shoemaker thought maybe it was a high strike. It was not. 1-1 the count.
You know, that law firm in Kansas City over the weekend, happy that series is over, that umpiring crew.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get the heck out of it.
That was a tough one. Jim Joyce, though, handled it extremely well and probably diffused a lot of things that could have happened all weekend. And so the veteran Jim Joyce took care of business.
In for a strike with a breaking ball, 1-2. Shoemaker, 28 years old, 6'2", 225 pounds. Signed back in 2008. So he spent 6 years in the minor leagues and finally got to the big leagues. And last year, it all came together. Terrific season. 16-4. Canna swings at a pitch in the dirt, and there's the first strikeout of the game.
Now, Ben Zobrist is not playing tonight. It might not play for a few days. We'll see how it comes out. But this is what happened as he's sliding into second yesterday. Watch the left knee. As we pointed out, he jammed the left knee right there and awkwardly hit the bag and came up limping. He did stay in the game, but did come out.
Very strange slide.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can see when, you know, the guys have the pop-up slide and they land on their left side or right side, depending how they slide, but usually it's on their back side. This happened to be when he buckled his knee underneath his body, and all the weight went on his knee.
So here's Stephen Vogt, 368, 3 home runs, so a great start for Vogt. He was 5 for 8 in that series in Kansas City with a couple of doubles and a couple of home runs. Outfield shifted toward left center. Fold inches off. And there's a strike. So 0-1 the count. But Shoemaker last year, again, 16-4. And he finished race second in the Rookie of the Year voting to the big first baseman from the White Sox, Jose Abreu. That's how good he was. A
came out of nowhere.
3.04 ERA.
Came out of nowhere. It's amazing. Yeah, when they lost Richards, they thought their season was over, but Shoemaker stepped right in as if he was the ace and finished like it was the ace. Of course, as mentioned, Garrett Richards pitched yesterday, so he's back. Well, not pitching this series, but I'm sure the Angels, Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, Mike Scioscia, are very happy to have him back.
Most wins by rookie pitcher in Angels franchise history. Runner goes, pitches low, throw to second base is not in time, and Sam Fold has a stolen bag. Ibar is looking at Mike Malinsky. Now, will there be any action in the dugout?
Now Mike Scioscia is saying, hold off, wait a second. And the ball does bounce. And quick throw by Iannetta.
He was safe.
He was safe, yeah, because the throw was up. Anytime an infielder has to go up and get the ball and bring it down, that's a disaster. It's not going to work out, and that quickly was stopped. But that's a great jump that Sam Fold had. That Iannetta, who normally has a very strong arm, an accurate arm, but had to hurry and get the ball down.
So RBI opportunity for Vogt. He waited on that hanging breaking ball. Fouls it left side.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times when you see stolen bases, and we pointed out the A's really just started running after about 10, 12 games. Didn't have a stolen base, but there's the clock. They know the times. They know the tendencies of pitchers. And Mike Aldrete and Bob Melvin, of course, Melvin relays the sign. Sometimes it's a green light for certain runners. Ty Waller at first has a stopwatch on how long it takes for Shoemaker to get rid of the ball. They know the timing for the catcher. And certain guys, you may run more teams against certain teams, but it's all about time, it seems. And that man right there, Mike Gallego, said, please come close to me. I'll send you home, no matter what.
Billy Butler waits in the on-deck circle. 2-2 pitch, down and in, 3-2. The Shoemaker, that walk to full, just his second walk this year. Billy Butler had a nice weekend in Kansas City.
Peacemaker. Seemed like
a piece. Yeah,
even he was surprised at some of the things that were going on.
And the 3-2 pitch is high. Shoemaker has walked 2 here in the first inning, and that is extremely uncommon for him.
Cap, you know, yesterday we saw Eric O'Flaherty when Lorenzo Cain stole third, and the one thing he did not do was look back to second base. So dangerous. Watch, he just never looked back to Sam Fuld. Sam wasn't running, but those are tendencies you try to pick up to see if a pitcher's going to concentrate so much on the hitter that he fails to look back, and that's when the runner second, as Cain did yesterday, you get a running lead, you could walk to third. And I think at times a pitcher just concentrates so much on throwing strikes that he forgets about anything else and anybody else on the bases, and that is very dangerous.
So Butler digs in, hitting .347 with a homer and 7 RBIs. First pitch, slider, down and away. And Shoemaker trying to find the strike zone.
Well, he's missing high with the fastballs and down and away with the sliders.
And that one is drilled to center. Trout going back, still going back, and it's off the wall. Trout picks it up, hustles it back in, and the runners have to all hold.
Wow.
Butler has to scamper back to first base, and the bases are loaded. The ball bounced right back to Trout. He got pretty close to the wall, and he was able to grab it and fire it back in.
And that guy at third, Sam Fuld, knows exactly what he did or didn't do, and he's aware of it. You never tag on 1 out. You never tag when there's 1 out. Nobody out yet. Sam Fuld starts and he goes back. He's thinking it's going to be caught, and he goes back to tag. If he's halfway, he walks home, but by going back to tag, he has to stop. And if anybody's at first base, Butler's out because he's going for a double. But you just have to assume the ball is going to drop. Stephen Vogt right behind him. Great shot there. Vogt had to go back. Sam Fuld had to be held up. We saw that last year with Derek Barton. Did the same thing. And Billy Butler said, whoa, let's get back. Unfortunately, nobody was at first because that would have been an out, a strange out. But a ball off the right center field wall and a single. And could have been 2 runs in, at least 1, and bases are loaded. But rule of thumb, nobody out, you tag. 1 out, you go halfway so you can score, especially in a play like that. And that's why Sam was hands on his knees looking down, because he knew it.
So here's Ike Davis. And Davis hits one toward left, toward the line. Joyce on the move, and it drops just foul. So basically what you're saying, Ray, is getting to third with 2 outs. There's not a huge advantage to that.
No, there's not.
Getting to third with 1 out, well, obviously now you can score on a sac fly.
Yeah, because at that point there's nobody out.
Exactly.
I mean, you're doing it, but the 1 out, and it's just that it's rarely seen, and especially with somebody who, like Sam Fuld, knows. And I'm sure when he got to third, he thought, what am I doing? Because he realized 1 out, should have scored. But it's too bad, because that was the makings of, looked like a 3-run home run initially. Hit off the wall and thinking at least they'd have the run in second and third, but now Ike Davis has to come through.
Here's that sinker drop slow.
Well, watch Sam Fuld. He goes halfway and then thinks it's going to be caught, goes back to second. Meanwhile, Stephen Vogt's right behind him. So Vogt's thinking about going to third. Fold's going to score. He has to stop at third. Vogt back to second, and there goes the pitcher to cover, or the first baseman back to first, assuming that it was going to be a double. But it's just little mistakes like that.
Beaten to left. Joyce going back. He's got it, so that'll get the job done. Vogt's going to try for third, and he'll make it. In fact, everybody's going to move up. Sam Fuld comes in to score, and the A's have a 1-0 lead.
Sam's breathing a sigh of relief. But Ike Davis showing his opposite field power, and ball just kept going back for Matt Joyce. And remember, it's Joyce and not Josh Hamilton. Hamilton on the disabled list. Joyce acquired in the trades, getting a lot of playing time. He and Colin Cowgill. So great base running by everybody. Scoring easily is fold, but also second and third advancing a couple more in the scoring position.
So Davis gets his 7th RBI. 2 outs, and Reddick steps in, hitting .286. A home run and 5 RBIs. 8 hits and 28 at bats for Reddick. First pitch stays high.
Well, if the advanced scout or somebody watching the video in the Kansas City series, and with Josh Reddick, they didn't see him go to opposite field with some base hits as we did. Because right now the whole left side of the infield, with the exception of Freese, is wide open for Josh Reddick.
Off the plate, 2-0. So 21 pitches in the first inning for Shoemaker.
Josh Reddick might be pitched carefully in this at bat. First base open, and Brett Lawrie in the on deck circle. So if they stay away from him, Reddick might shoot it to left field.
Rolls over on that one. Ibar scoops it up. Crows to first. Side retired. A's get a run on a hit, a couple of walks, sacrifice fly. So 1-0 after half an inning. More. But they did get the one on the Davis sac fly. Here's the lineup for the Angels. Calhoun, Trout, Pujols, Joyce, Freese, Ibar, Cron, Iannetta, and Giotella.
Kendall Graveman a run before he takes the mound, which is nice, and at least has that to work with to start this game. Looking for his second major league win. Got his first at the beginning of the road trip after losing his first start at the Coliseum. So Kendall Graveman, the good sinker. He's looking back to his infielders and say, I hope I can keep you busy tonight, keep the ball down, and get the ball sinking enough to get some ground ball outs.
So he'll face the leadoff man, Cole Calhoun, 258. A homer and 5 RBIs. Calhoun's been a little bit banged up. He had a little calf injury, so he's missed a little bit of time in the early going. It's game number 13 for the Angels. Mentioned their struggles offensively. They scored 43 runs in 12 games. Their team batting average rate is .218, and they're hitting .194 with runners in scoring position.
Well, Mike Scioscia, the manager, as we mentioned, the 16th season, see the runs and all those things about the Angels. But Mike Scioscia, just like the A's Bob Melvin, ask questions and downplay any struggles players might be having, the team might be having, and knowing that it is a long season. I mean, if you're talking those numbers in September, then yeah, there's some concern. But this is Don Baylor, the hitting coach, former Athletic back in the mid-'70s. Very good hitter, former manager.
Good pitch at the knees on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. So defensively for the Athletics, Canna, Fulton, Reddick in the outfield, Laurie, Simeon, Sogard, and Davis on the infield, and Vogt is the catcher. Hey, DV, what's up, buddy? Darth Vader's in the booth. It's Star Wars night here at the ballpark, and we've been visited by Darth Vader.
Oh, you're the man, Darth Vader. Don't be looking that fist at me. Point the fist at me like it's going to hurt me.
He's not so tough.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my grandson Matthew would love to have you guys. Who are you? Who are these guys? Jack knows these guys.
You don't mess with those guys. Yeah,
Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers? Do you talk? I guess not.
They're a quiet bunch.
You want to do some?
That's creepy. See, the Darth Vader noise has always been creepy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, it's my grandson Matthew, like Jack, you know.
I got a couple kids at home that if they're watching this, they're going to be thinking this is the greatest thing ever.
Oh, by the way, nice goal.
So you're bad luck.
No, get out of here. You can't be cheering like that in this booth. What are you doing?
Trout with a base hit. The Stormtroopers and Darth Vader.
Look at JR getting a selfie. Oh, you got to get it for Jack. Jack will love that.
So Trout with a 1-out single, and Albert Pujols steps in.
They got Chewy Baca?
Chewy was, yeah.
Chewy? No, Chewy. Okay, I don't know. See, I'm too old for. What's the noise again? Oh, like all these buttons here? Don't. Why, they explode? See y'all later. Now go disrupt the Angels broadcaster so Ace can get a double play and get out of the inning. As you wish. That's pretty good.
Right. We got a game to do here. Star Wars night here at the ballpark. It's time. He needs to take a hike, right? It's time. Get him out of here.
Well, how old is Jack?
10.
10. Matthew's 8.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's a perfect
right
age.
Up there,
Oh, yeah. So, Matthew is going to be jealous. I'm sure Jack is going to be jealous to have.
Got a picture. We saw him. We saw the real guy. The man, Darth Vader. Hit hard. Simeon dives, can't get it. And Trout rounds the bag. He slips a little bit. And I don't know, he may have been headed to third.
I think he was.
But he just slipped as he hit the bag. So 2 on and 1 out for the Angels here in the first.
Well, a ground ball there, but that was a hard hit ground ball. And Mike Trout's going to repair the dirt where he almost tripped. And that ball came close to being a 6-4-3 double play, but just past the diving Simeon. And unfortunately, got by him so quickly. Sam Fold throwing behind Trout. Trout, watch this, right there. It's when he lost his footing. He was thinking about and probably would have been successful because you don't want to throw to third, want to keep the double play in order. The back-to-back hits, about 2 of the best on the team.
And here's Matt Joyce. Matt Joyce came over from the Rays in the offseason. It was Joyce for Kevin Jepson. Jepson, the hard-throwing reliever, went to Tampa Bay. And with the Josh Hamilton situation unresolved, Joyce should get quite a bit of playing time. And tonight he's hitting in the cleanup spot. But it is a little bit of a different lineup with Hamilton out and, of course, Howie Kendrick traded in the offseason. Kendrick, a very good offensive player.
Now, Matt Joyce might not hit as many home runs as Hamilton's capable. Of course, his MVP with the Rangers, but Matt Joyce is a pretty consistent player. And he can play the outfield positions, and he'll play mostly in left with nice backhanded block in this case by Stephen Vogt, and the ball just took off on him, a hard slider.
So 2-0 to Joyce with David Freese, the on-deck hitter. Simeon trying to keep Trout close at second base. And that one misses. And now it's 3-0. So Graveman in some trouble here in the first inning after the A's got a run in the top of the first. That one's hit hard. And Davis makes a nice play. Flips to Graveman, and they got him at first.
Wow. Talk about a big league play. A 2-run save, at least a double, swinging on 3-0, and that's what a team that's struggling offensively will do. Not surprised. What a play by Ike Davis. The backhand. How about a backhand flip with him covering Graveman and turn around with the speedy Trout going to third? What a tremendous play that was. You know, with Trout slipping at second so far, that saved a run. Yep. Because and that ball, that'd have been the first and third, and that might even been past Ike Davis because he would have been holding Pujols at first.
So here's Freese, who takes a fastball for a strike at 92 miles an hour. Freese hitting .213. He does have 3 home runs.
What a play by Ike Davis. Wow.
A little flare, and that's going to fall for a hit. 1-run scores. They're waving Pujols. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's late. Freese to second, and he is out. So Freese with a big hit early, a 2-run single. So we're headed to the second inning. It's the Angels 2 and the A's 1. By PG&E, together building a better California. So the Angels get the 2-out hit from Freese, 2-1 after 1 inning. So see if both pitchers can settle down. Shoemaker walked a couple in the first, which is very uncommon for him as he faces Laurie, Sogard, and Simeon. 22 pitch first inning for Matt Shoemaker. Laurie was 3 for 10 in that series in Kansas City, and he swings at a pitch well out of the strike zone, and it's 0-2.
Brett was supposed to get the night off. At least there was some talk with a couple of lefties coming up in the series.
Ibar's not going to get it, and a pitch that was
wow
right around the helmet area, at least height-wise, and he singles into center field.
Ty Waller loves it. Well, this is Freese. They got the ball in and really jammed him. He's trying to get the sinker down to get a ground ball. Pujols with 2 outs running, and Freese actually going to second trying to draw the throw. Pujols, though, probably is going to score anyway. Vogt comes up in front, throws to second, gets Freese by plenty. So I think that's an 8-2-6 put out. Is that how they described it? But Freese came through with the base hit. But everybody has to be impressed with Brett Lawrie's base hit on the ball that he hit that was over his head.
Outside to Sogard.
I mean, that's going up the ladder, isn't it?
He was,
I mean, look at this. Yellow.
Plus, it was outside about a foot and a half.
And running. So much for the waste pitch, 0-2.
Sogard 240 with a couple of RBIs. And that's outside again. 2-0.
I think Brett Lawrie's happy to get out of Kansas City.
Yeah, there was too much going on in Kansas City.
Well, and not only what went on in the field, Cap, but I think in the clubhouse and writers and everybody wanted to talk to him. And this, even as you said when we came out here, people said, "What was going on in Kansas City?" Because it spreads
big time. And quite frankly, as the consensus of people we talk to now, people who were not there, is when it's all said and done, I think what happened yesterday, it made the Royals look bad.
I agree. I think around baseball, that's exactly right.
Everybody I've talked to today, not people involved with the Athletics, have said the same thing. And that's too bad.
Well, it is.
But we all saw what happened. And I think it's going to cost somebody a suspension. And that doesn't help your team at all.
And Laurie's explaining to Pujols what happened in Kansas City Friday night. He was just pointing and kind of giving indication of what was happening. Yeah, it is too bad.
Shot to Pujols, steps on the bag, a double play. Not a doggone thing you can do about that, Ray.
Well, the only thing, if Pujols was playing off the bag, it's a double down the line, just like Davis was able to rob Matt Joyce. But bang, bang, and that's it. Step on the bag. Brett Lawrie just taking his normal lead. That's not really, I mean, even although he took a step towards second, there's nothing he could do.
So, just like that, 2 outs for Semien. Semien, one of 3 A's who have been in the starting lineup for every game this year. Semien, Lawrie, and Butler. So this is the unfortunate situation yesterday.
I remember Greg Gibson had warned both benches and in Italy, and then Herrera just picked it up. And Don Wakamatsu trying to get him in, and that's when Lawrie got a little upset when he pointed to Lawrie and then pointed his head.
Well, and the thing about it is, if you're Herrera, okay, we know you're in your mind, you had one thing you wanted to do. You wanted to hit him. Well, you didn't even hit him.
Exactly.
You wanted to hurt him, and you missed him.
Yeah,
now you're probably going to cost your team. So 2-2 the count to Semien, and now 3-2. And that one was one of the strangest foul balls I've ever seen.
They're trying to get in on the hands of Semien, and I think Iannetta might have gotten it off his glove and his mask, and Semien just barely made contact. He didn't know where the ball was. Pulled the hands in, protected.
No, he hit it off the end of his bat.
Yeah, I thought it missed Iannetta completely.
So it never hit Iannetta. Freese, and a nice play as Freese cuts in front of Ibar,
throws out Simeon, side retired. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Ibar, Cronin, Iannetta, 2-1 Angels. Another terrific performance, 7 1/3 innings. Just a couple of earned runs, 103 pitches. No way he pitched great, but I think that he's going to be bugged by that leadoff walk in the 8th inning.
He walked one batter and he scored.
That kind of got that 8th inning rolling, and Royals ended up scoring 3 times.
And the other one, the first and second wild pitch, put runner second and third, and next was a ground ball.
Another nice play, Ike Davis. Graveman dropped it. Well, that's too bad, because Davis really made a nice play,
and he almost took it himself.
Yeah, and he was thinking about taking it himself, and the flip was really fairly routine.
It was very routine, but Ike Davis, another diving stop. But watch as he gets up, he starts to go to the bag, and then he sees Graveman, and Graveman might have looked down because the ball, watch him see if he looks down, looking for the bag, and that's usually what happens. You take your eye off the ball, trying to find the bag, and you miss it. That's too bad.
Good call. You could see him put his head down.
Yeah, that usually. And you could think that if he's up the line more or back towards home plate, he's able to catch the ball, then look. But this kind of the same time, and it cost him as he was looking and dropped it. What a play by Ike Davis. He can play some first base.
C.J. Cron off to a slow start. Young power hitting infielder, outfielder.
Another, this ball is hit very hard, and Davis again a great play, and look at the feed right in front of the bag, but still a couple of steps away. The old PFP, and you're always working on plays like that.
Good pitch there, a little cut fastball, and Cron swings and misses. So there's the final line for Kazmir. 2 earned runs in 7 1/3. Hit towards second. Sogard scoops it up, and that's a nicely turned double play. So the A's turned the double play. No harm done on the air by Graveman. 2 outs.
Well, I think we can all say we're amazed as always at the great plays, and these guys, they're like magicians. Watch this flip by Sogard. Little backhand right perfectly to Simeon across the bag, and a 4-6-3 double play. And all those things, while they look so easy, they work on them. But that flip underhand, sometimes you have to go over the top. But that close, just a little backhanded flip, and that's how easily the play is turned. And I think always that's why the infielders work on it during batting practice. But the one thing that's missing is taking infield. To be able to see those things, and when the fans in the stands, and you're able to work on turning double plays and throwing to second. But again, watch the backhand flip by Sogard there, and just a little backhand flip about belt high to Semien, and a double play.
But I remember when teams, they would take infield, and this is just coming to the ball games to watch, but they would do it 20, 25 minutes before first pitch.
That's the
so
way.
There was a lot of people in the stands. It's fun to watch.
Well, the way it's always been, what had been set up in the past, you'd have both teams hitting, taking batting practice. Unless it's a 7:05 game. At 6:20, one team would take, 6:30, the other team would take 10 minutes each.
Yep.
Then the home team that would take it, would go in and get dressed and play the game.
Sure.
But you know how many times you could see where a catcher or infielders or outfielders throwing, and it would shut down the running game of the opposition because managers, coaches, they'd say, these guys are throwing well, we can't run on these guys, and change the whole concept of what a team might be doing.
And now, I mean, the team will take infield occasionally, but it's usually done at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
They get their work done. They don't make plays like that without getting their work in, but it is before the gates open, during batting practice, or even before batting practice.
It was almost like infield practice the way we're talking about when it was taken 20 minutes before the game. It was almost to get you ready for the game, whereas practice ground balls taken now, which is done at 4:30. It's really just maybe work on something, or
it's a good point. Yeah.
Three-two pitch, and I don't know where that missed. And I don't think Graveman knows where it missed.
Well, he's a sinker ball pitcher, and if you remember his game at Oakland, first pitch of the game was called a ball. Mark Wegner. You have to understand, and that is a pitch that, first of all, why is Iannetta taking it? Although his expertise has been throughout his career of being patient and drawing walks, but that's too close to take. He did, and it worked for him.
So here's Johnny Giavotella. It's the breakdown for Graveman. Fastball cutter. So really, Ray, sinker kind of moves one way, cutter moves the other way.
I tried it with Freeze, a sinker, where down and in with the location, but it stayed up.
Semien has it. He'll go the short way side, retired. So an error and a walk, but nothing in the run column for the Angels. They lead 2-1 as we go to the third.
Pay homage to the history of the franchise. Each Throwback Thursday, 5,000 fans will receive a commemorative button highlighting an amazing A's player. For tickets and information, go to athletics.com/Thursday. Can't wait for the next amazing player.
Could be anybody. Yeah.
Right now it's 2-1. He's trailing in the top of the third and the top of the order. First pitch at the knees for a strike to Sam Fuld. Fuld walked and scored in the first inning.
Now, what was the difference in that height than the one Graveman threw? I netted 3-2.
Pitch may have been better.
Yeah.
Inside, 2-1. Couple of hits for the A's. 3 hits for the Angels in the early going. And that's fair down the left field line. And Sam Fuld hits the bag at first. And Sam Fuld has a double. So double number 5 for Fuld.
Well, the triples first 2 to 3 games of the season, so the extra base hits for Sam Fuld leading off. High fastball away, perfect to go that direction. Freeze playing in close at third base off the bag, and just inside the bag, easy double for Sam Fuld to start this third inning. That's why you like to see hitters, and we saw yesterday in Kansas City, Ben Zobrist taking the high fastball from Duffy, hitting to right field to score a run, drive in a run. Don't try, well, even tonight with Brett Lawrie taking a high fastball, running away from him and hitting it softly into left center.
Here's Canna, and Canna takes a first pitch fastball right there for a strike. Canna struck out swinging in the first inning.
Canna usually has a pretty good idea with the runner at second, nobody out, hit the ball to the right side, and that time he had a pretty good pitch to do exactly that, but could not swing the bat.
Vote to follow, and he's trying to tie it up here in the third. Bounced in the hole. Ibar's got it. Throws, and he throws it high, and Canna's safe. Pujols had to jump up to catch it, so it'll be a hit for Mark Canna.
Okay, I think what we've just seen with Eric Ibar, who has a very strong arm, great range, but realizes that Mark Canna can run. There's your scouting report that Ibar knew, because normally he could catch this ball and maybe stop and plant. Instead, he had to kind of jump a little bit, try to get a little bit extra on it, knowing that Canna can run. Getting down the line, you smell a base hit, head down, all the way running, and he's able to avoid the tag by Pujols as he brought the ball down.
So 2 on, nobody out.
And
here's Vogt.
Didn't get him over, but at least got himself on, and chance to make it a big inning.
Vogt walked in the first. And there's a strike.
See that again, Kai? Shoemaker did not look back. And that's what you try to pick up. And Sam Fuld can steal a base. He looked back before getting the sign. Let's see if he looks this time. And usually good pitchers will maybe not do it one time. Somebody will remind them. Yeah, this time he does.
Swing and a miss and a high fastball. 0-2.
You have advanced scouts. You have players on the bench that watch certain things from a pitcher and maybe pick up on that.
So Vogt behind in the count, 0-2. And that one is launched to right. And that baby's gone. Vogt with a 3-run shot, and the A's lead 4-2.
Something about catchers against the Angels in Anaheim. John Jaso, a big pinch hit, home run late. What you said it best in our open. Stephen Vogt's hot, put him in the third spot in the lineup, and he gets 2 runners on base and a 3-run shot. His second 3-run home run of the season, his 4th. He had 2 in Kansas City in the same game. First time he's ever done that. 3-run home run opening night. He does it again tonight, and that was an 0-2 pitch.
So
4th home run of the year for Vogt. He now has 12 RBIs.
That's all right. Keep pulling him, Steven. Get out in front. He swung on a high fastball that he missed on the 0-1.
And that's off Freese's glove, and it rolls down the left field line.
Go
into foul territory.
Go, big boy.
Billy Butler chugging into second. He's got a double. That's 4 consecutive hits for the A's.
Well, you want to see a great swing. How about this from Stephen Vogt? Right down the middle. You can hear somebody down below saying, watch it. This. Oh, what a great swing. Hear that? Oh. That wasn't somebody from the A's saying that. Oh, that was a great shot by Stephen Vogt. And he's still not feeling well. He's still been under the weather about 10 days. So I guess you could say stay that way.
So Ike Davis steps up. Double, single, homer, double for the A's here in the 3rd. Sinker's low. So 6 hits already for the Athletics against Shoemaker, who is clearly not on his game tonight. Davis takes again, and it's low.
Well, we've talked about Billy Butler being a doubles machine. Usually not like this, where he has to really go, and he's thinking, man, I got some country breakfast in me, and I'm going to go hard. Coach is in the second base.
So I'm at breakfast today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was he having a country breakfast?
I didn't ask what he was eating. I thought that would be way too obvious. That's drilled toward Trout in left center field. Trout grabs it. Another hard hit ball as Davis lines to center, 1 away. Going back to last year, last 10 games, Shoemaker 9-0 with a 1.92 ERA. So that includes his 2 starts this year, which he won both. So it's been a while since he's lost, but not sharp tonight. His first start at home this year.
That's still a long way to go, but he's throwing a lot of pitches, and A's are hitting the ball hard. By the way, Billy Butler's 12-game hitting streak ended yesterday, but 2 hits tonight to start a new one.
Reddick grounded out to end the 1st inning. Pitch is a bit high. Butler with a short lead, obviously, at second base. And Shoemaker misses again. 2-0 the count.
Check that nugget Brian just gave you. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive on Shoemaker's part to not give up a home run last year on an 0-2 count.
All right. I'm going to read it to you.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's worthy of reading.
Reddick takes low. So last year, Shoemaker had the great season. He went 16-4. He did not allow an 0-2 home run or even an extra base hit on 0-2. He allowed 8 0-2 hits, all singles.
Wow. That's impressive. That is quite a season.
And Reddick on 4 pitches walks. So walk number 3 issued by Shoemaker. He has not struck anybody out.
That's great stuff, Brian.
So they are going to start moving around. Jose Alvarez, a left-hander, gets up.
Yeah, Brian also works for Vin Scully, so maybe it's.
You know what? He probably got this from Vin Scully.
No,
Vin probably just knew this off the top of his head.
No, I think Brian probably gave it to Vinny.
I don't think so. I think Vinny knew it, and I think Vinny gave it to Brian. We're going to just agree to disagree on this, Ray.
But Brian does a very nice job.
Yes, he does.
He works with greatness over there at Dodger Stadium and Vin Scully.
And he comes to Anaheim and works with JR.
Yeah. Brian works Vince Scully, and then he comes over here and works with me and you, right?
What are you laughing about, JR?
In the dirt. Shoemaker all over the place right now as he faces Brett Lawrie.
And to Brett Lawrie, it doesn't matter that Shoemaker threw 4 completely out of the strike zone to Josh Reddick, because he was looking to swing, and the first one fortunately was so far outside that it didn't swing. Talk about an aggressive player.
So 1-0. Butler at second, Reddick at first, and a hanger has popped up, foul territory. Freeze is going to watch it drop right on that railing and then bounce up and back into the seats. But watch where this pitch is.
Oh. And he said, I'm so happy we're not at the Coliseum, because that's an out. We saw a few in Kansas City. And we always have to remember at the Coliseum, there's a lot of foul territory. And this is small here. Very little foul territory, especially down the lines. And that ball would have been caught easily in Oakland. The Angels will be there next week.
Sinker inside, 2-1. Maybe even changeup, 82 miles an hour. So Stephen Vogt with a 3-run homer here in the third to give the A's the 4-2 lead. It'd be frustrating for a pitcher like Shoemaker, who has such good control, and you just have a night where you're just not sure where it's going. You're just not used to that.
It's frustrating, but it's called being human. You know, you make a mistake 0-2, and you think all last year Stephen Vogt just did something that nobody did all of 2014.
So the count even, 2-2. Pitch number 59 coming up for Shoemaker. And here it is, and it's hit high and foul. So Lawrie spoiled a pretty good pitch there. Long look in, now Shoemaker's ready. Sogard will be next for the A's. Not close. And I mean not close.
Yeah. And even a pitch so high that Lawrie wouldn't swing at it.
So a full count. So Lawrie wants timeout. Shoemaker taking a very, very long time.
He's got to get a slider. I'd be surprised if he gets a fastball. He's having trouble with the curveball. Slider's even out of the strike zone, but he knows that, and Iannetta knows that Lawrie is very aggressive.
And there it was, and it was a good off-speed pitch, and Lawrie swings and misses. It's one of the better pitches that Shoemaker has thrown.
And it wasn't a strike either, but he did throw it, and maybe a straight change, something that floated down, but in fact it was off speed. And that's where you can, well, actually Shoemaker take it as long as he did. Maybe he was shaking with Iannetta, or Iannetta was trying to convince him to throw something other than a fastball.
So 2 outs for Sogard. Sogard takes a fastball low. Sogard hit a line drive right at Pujols. It turned into a double play in the second inning.
Now this is a good time, at least for Billy Butler at second, not really fleet of foot. He can get a good jump in contact, so a ball hit the outfield. Mike Gallego a little bit easier to send him.
I think we should let everybody know, Ray, Ben Zobrist going to get a cortisone shot in his knee, and he's going to be out for a couple days.
48 hours usually after cortisone shot, and talking about sometime tonight when the doctor got here. And that's in the left knee, which if that's it, then that's pretty good, because it looked like he injured himself or could have injured himself pretty seriously.
So we'll see. As Ben Zobrist, the earliest would be Thursday, but we shall see. He'll be out for a couple days at least.
Looks like Jesse Hahn is not going to make the start on Thursday, so Jesse Chavez, who we thought might, with the great job he did start of the weekend, would get the start on Thursday, and that's going to be the case.
So the blister got Jesse Hahn. I saw him today in the lobby, and I asked him how's the finger, and he showed it to me, and he said it feels a lot better, but it still wasn't quite sure.
Still see the cut, though.
A little bit.
It's like a razor cut on his finger, which that's if it was just a blister, but the fact that cuts there, those cuts have to heal before it can really start throwing. So getting an little extra time is not going to hurt him. There's an off day Monday also, so it could get an extra day.
3-1 pitch is hit to center. Trout backs up, and Trout makes the catch. Side retired. Stephen Vogt, he's been hot all year, and that continues. A 3-run homer here in the third inning. So bottom of the third coming up. It's the A's 4, Angels 2. Vote home run. It's the bottom of the third, and it's the top of the order for the Angels. Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols. So Graveman a couple of runs to work with early in the game.
We'll need a shutdown inning also. Didn't happen the first when his club scored him a run. They've given another 2-run lead this time. I think the biggest thing for Graveman is trying to minimize the pitch count, number of pitches per inning, because he's starting to get his pitch count up a little bit too high, and we know what Shoemaker's doing tonight.
Looks like the bullpen action has settled down for the Angels out in their bullpen. Alvarez was up. A liner into the glove of Simeon, 1 out. So that'll bring up Trout, and that gets us to our true story, which is brought to you by McDonald's. On Friday, Mike Trout homered twice to become the youngest player in history with 100 home runs and 100 stolen bases at 23 years and 253 days old. Trout became the youngest player in history to reach the feat, breaking the mark set by Alex Rodriguez. So 100 home runs and 100 stolen bases, and he's 23 years old. Simeon juggles, and he's not going to be able to pick it up clean. Trout Savoy. So it's going to be the second error of the night by the Athletics.
Well, that's too bad because Marcus Simeon knows Trout runs well, as we talked about with Ibar, but that's a routine play. Just came up on him a little bit, and then the old panic right there. Got the bad hop, but came up with the heel, but then started reaching for it, couldn't find it, because he knew once he bobbled the ball that it was going to be tough to throw him out.
So Trout, the lead at first, and here's Pujols. Trout runs, throw to second base, late, and a stolen base for Trout.
Stephen Vogt was about 1/6 with that release and throw to second, and still almost got a runner and got a tremendous jump. Higher leg kick, Trout head down, pitch inside, Vogt quick release right on the bag, but just that close. And tell you what, he made it extremely close considering.
So Trout gets his third steal of the year. Trout's stolen base numbers have gone down each of his 3 years in the big leagues.
Well, that's because the man at the plate right now.
Yeah. Trout's rookie year, he stole 49. Then in 2013, 33. Last year, 16. But the thing is, Ray, is you still know that if he needs to, he can easily steal a bag.
Absolutely.
Pujols takes outside. Over the weekend in Houston, where the Angels lost 2 out of 3 to the Astros, this was an area where the Angels could not get it going. They were 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position in that 3-game series against Houston, and it's just been one of those things this year. In fact, until Freese's 2-out hit in the first inning, which knocked in a pair, Angels had only 5 hits this year in 2-out RBI situation. So that's been their issue. You can't get the big hit.
He's going to be swinging 3-0 too.
And he was. Yeah. And Graveman threw an 85-mile-an-hour pitch.
Well, you figure if Matt Joyce is swinging 3-0, King Albert's going to do it. And that's always a danger because he can make it a tie game quickly. And it's unfortunate what an error does. Of course, puts a pitcher into the stretch position. Now all of a sudden with a stolen base, he's in scoring position.
And that one's belted toward left. Canna on the move. It's over his head. Bounces up against the wall. Trout will score. Pujols is going to have to get back to first. He took a big turn, but Canna played it quickly off the wall. But it's an RBI single. And now it's 4-3.
A nice, easy, sweet swing. And fortunately, the ball had some topspin. It came down quickly, but you're right. Canna over his head. And Albert Pujols not really that fast. He's thinking about 2. And really from his standpoint, probably smart that he did stop. He's upset, figuring it should have been a double, but
the RBI, number 1,610 for Albert Pujols.
I guess the dugout, somebody from the dugout was asking if he was okay, and I don't know, when he rounded the bag, he kind of indicated maybe he slipped like Trout did. But it just looked like he decided that Canna got the ball back in so quickly that he was not going to try to go for 2.
So here's Joyce, who takes inside. So Albert Pujols, now 35 years old,
His 4th year with the Angels. He is still a major threat. Joyce checks his swing. 2-0. So Graveman's had a lot of traffic tonight in his 3 innings of work. Good pitch there on 2-0. Took a little off.
Just ball go down, and that's a great pitch because Joyce was trying to hit the ball in the seats. Uppercut swing.
One fouled right at home plate, so the count even now 2-2. 46 pitches for Graveman.
Off the catch was meant a Stephen Vogt, but he's wanting to catch it, but that was only the 2nd strike. 3rd one is what you want to catch.
So lots of offense in the early going, and could be a battle of the bullpen at some point.
I think it's kind of automatic.
Count remains 2-2 to Joyce. Toward the A's dugout, bounces off the screen.
Time trying to bring the 2-seamer back on the inside, similar to what he did to Calhoun in the 1st inning. First batter, great 2-seam fastball inside.
Vogt sets up outside, and it goes back inside. And Pujols is going to try for second, and he'll make it. As Vogt got tangled up a little bit with Mark Wegner, and nothing you can do about it. Sometimes that happens.
Well, it's in the dirt. Pitch. He did backhand it, but Pujols' secondary lead once he saw Vogt at that point, and maybe Pujols thought the ball had gotten past, but it did kick off the leg of the home plate umpire. But quick reaction.
Strike 3 call inside corner, and that's the 2nd out.
I think Joyce knew the way he started at first, kind of knowing it was a strike, headed to the dugout. He knew it. Got enough of the 2-seam coming back to catch the inside corner. One of the toughest pitches for a hitter. Don Vedder, the hitting coach of the Angels, talking today, he said, you know, in the 90s it was a splitter, and now it's the cutter.
Yeah.
2 pitches that have been very tough on hitters, and I'm glad it was just fastball, curveball, slider, change.
Boy.
Yeah. At least he had a chance. These splitters are tough, cut fastballs are tough, but great pitches been developed by pitchers.
Down and away to Freese, and offense on the decline.
Yeah.
Made me think the other day, with the offense continuing to be on the decline, how much Major League Baseball thinks that's an issue. I don't know. I wonder if the thought of designated hitter in both leagues comes into play.
That has come up. And actually, the new commissioner, one of his first interviews, he talked about eliminating the shift. How about that? I mean, that was just kind of somebody asked, what would you do? And I think it was just kind of off the cuff. But
yeah, he probably wished he hadn't said it.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think what the shift has done to the offense,
sure,
especially left-handed hitters, and how many times they've been thrown out hitting into the shift on the right side with 3 infielders.
So 2-1 now to Freese.
At 68, when Bob Gibson had a 1.12 ERA, they decided that the mound's too high. Let's lower it.
Hitters said, "Help us out."
They did.
Freese fouls that one at the plate, rolls out toward the mound. Freese had the 2-run single in the first inning, picked up his 8th and 9th RBIs. Freese had some big years with the Cardinals.
Hometown hero.
Yeah, not a great year last year, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, so he needs to have a good year. That one is inside, and now a full count.
Well, the Rangers do not want to hear anybody talking about David Freese.
Yeah, Freese was the hero.
Especially Gary Pettis is trying to move Nelson Cruz back. And he never did, kept moving in, and the ball went over his head for triple, and Cardinals world champs that next day.
Another foul ball at home plate, and that was 2011.
And did he hit a home run in that game?
Yeah,
they also
on,
hit the triple to tie. Tony La Russa's last world championship. Now Hall of Famer. Pitch 57, number 57 coming up for Kendall Graveman.
Make sure everybody's on the same page. Freese last year in 134 games here for the Angels hit 260 with 10 home runs. He's really never been a huge power hitter. People moving around out in the A's bullpen. Dan Otero starts to throw. 57 pitches now for Graveman. He has been in the stretch most of the night. Another foul ball as Freese reached for that one, rolled over on it. So the error by Simeon has cost the A's a run here in the third. And now he's battling David Freese, 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up, and Vogt and Graveman are going to get together again.
Well, I know the fans do not like this, but bottom line, this is a critical pitch. Ibar, tough hit in the on-deck circle. He reached on an error, his first at bat. And this another 3-2. Fouled off 3 after getting the 2-strike count.
Center field, shallow, Fold coming in, Fold dives, and he caught it. So Sam Fold saves a run. The Angels get 1. We're on to the 4th. It's the A's 4 and the Angels 3.
The A's host the Boston Red Sox. 15,000 fans will walk away with this green and gold fleece blanket that pays homage to Sean Doolittle's signature pose. Get tickets now at athletics.com/tickets.
Shoemaker back out there. It's been a struggle for him tonight. And that one is belted to left field. And that baby's gone. A's get the run back. It's 5-3. Simeon homers.
Now Mike Scioscia immediately out of the dugout after a great swing again by Marcus Semien in Houston against Feldman. He did it, put the hands in. This time, kind of similar. One of the hands in through the tunnel. And Shoemaker, who gave up a 3-run home run, and this curveball that was a hanger. Marcus Semien, a good swing on the curveball down the line here in Anaheim. His second, and he's able to take the trot and also send Shoemaker to the showers. What a great swing by Marcus Semien.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
Presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Matt Shoemaker is out, 3+ innings. He scored 5 off them. So A's 5, Angels 3. It was the Semien home run that knocked him out. So the new pitcher is Jose Alvarez, 25-year-old left-hander. So 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts for Shoemaker. One of the worst outings of his career. So the A's will try to add on to their lead against Alvarez, the left-hander. Sam Fuld rolls it toward Ty Waller, who juggles it. And an A's fan makes a nice play. Ty probably spotted that gold jersey.
Ty's always got a smile. He bobble one, doesn't matter. He does just put a happy smile on his face.
Good take by Fuld, 1-2.
Hey, Sam Fuld, what a great play in center field to rob Freese of another run. As you look at the numbers for Jose Alvarez this season, he is not hard thrower, but not surprised that Mike Scioscia would go to a lefty, one of 2 lefties out of the Angels bullpen.
Pujols has it. He'll flip to Alvarez, who hustles and beats Fuld to the bag. So 1 out.
I always say one of the toughest jobs for a manager is when to know or when to take out a pitcher. And especially a starting pitcher go to the bullpen. Well, Mike Scioscia was a former catcher and a very good one in his days with the Dodgers. As soon as a home run was hit by Simeon, it's almost as if he knew Shoemaker didn't have it tonight.
Yeah.
Gave him some leeway in the first 3 innings. Gave up the 3-run home run, settled down. But Marcus Simeon leading off the 4th inning, and Simeon was right on the bases. Social was out. It's like, okay, I'm going to be in one more inning, and didn't happen. So sometimes going to the bullpen, although you might not want to do it, let your pitcher, especially your starter, have a better chance.
And if you're the Angels, it's not a blowout. It's a 2-run game,
Absolutely.
so you want to keep it as close as you can.
Remember last year when Garrett Richards went down, Mike Social one game used bullpen for the whole game. I think 9 relievers were used in the game against the Athletics, and they won. I mean, it was like pitch an inning, maybe 2, but he used a whole bunch of pitchers. Sam Fuld robbing David Freese on this ball, similar to the one he hit in the first inning, drove into. Sam Fuld got a great jump, didn't break back, and that's the only way you can make the play. Make the first move towards the ball.
That one called a strike, and it's 1-2 to Cannon. He's fun to watch in center field, Sam Fuld. Not happy with the ground out.
He's got a walk and a run scored, double and a run scored.
1-2 pitch. Canna swings and misses, so he strikes out for the 2nd time.
Well, right after him, and maybe foul tipped the ball. Just looking back, Ionetta did hang on, so maybe he did foul tip it.
Remember Andrew Romine, the
Yeah.
middle infielder that the Angels had for a couple years? They traded Romine to Detroit, and they got Jose Alvarez.
Try to put him at shortstop when Iglesias went
that's
down.
right, exactly. It was at the end of spring training, and if I remember correctly, I remember Alvarez pitching against the A's in Detroit. I don't know if he started or he came in and pitched long relief, but I know he faced the A's in Detroit.
Well, you remember, let's say last year, when actually a year before in 13, when Jim Leland was still managing, Brandon Moss came up twice and lefty was brought in out of the bullpen.
And he may have been.
I think he was one of them. And Moss ended up hitting home runs off the 2 lefties. And Jim Leland brought lefties in thinking that he was going to be taken out for a pinch hitter. Stephen Vogt wasn't taken out for a pinch hitter against Shoemaker. 0-2. Tell you what, the soundtrack on that was just absolutely beautiful. The sound of the bat was great, but to hearing the fan, obviously an Angels fan, going, oh, no.
Well,
that's a good one.
Suites right down at field level that run between the dugouts. You can see them. And that could very well where it came from, one of those suites. We got a couple microphones down there. Could have been any one of those people moaning. Vogt skies one to left. Joyce coming in. So Jose Alvarez comes in and he does his job, but not before Marcus Simeon hits his 2nd home run of the year, and we're going to the bottom of the 4th, 5-3. The A's lead.
returned to the mound after he suffered that season-ending knee injury last year in Boston. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. He threw 100 pitches. The Angels did not win the game, but they were thrilled to get one of their top pitchers back, Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards he was having a great year last year. Went to cover first base in Boston, tore up his knee pretty good. Richards said, "I'm healthy. I did the rehab. I'm ready to go." And
took him, what, 8 months total? But he's back.
Back in the rotation. With Wilson, Weaver, Santiago, the left-hander, and Shoemaker. The Angels also have a young pitcher named Tyler Skaggs who was pitching pretty well for them, but then last year Tommy John surgery got him in middle of August. So he's out.
Isn't that when kind of Shoemaker was, although he had been in the rotation, you win 16 games, but Shoemaker was just kind of old by the way. And there's Garrett Richards hurting himself in Boston. This is ugly, but it right there.
Oh,
and he went down, and the Angels thought their season went down, and so he reached back and his knee buckled, and
felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Ibar rolls that one foul, but Skaggs will not be back this year.
Remember they traded Mark Trumbo, a great player, first baseman, outfielder, third baseman, very, very good power hitter. Traded him to the Diamondbacks to get Tyler Skaggs. And as we've talked, and we know what Billy Beanie, his general manager, does, he likes to have pitching because you can make a lot of moves if you have good pitching, and sometimes excess. In the case of the Angels, they needed pitching, and they were willing to give up a pretty good hitter to get.
And you know what? They really did it with Kendrick as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Traded Kendrick, and the guy they got, Andrew Heaney, a young left-hander who started a game against the A's last year down in Miami. Very talented young man, but still young and maybe not quite ready to be take the ball every 5th day in the big leagues. But the Angels think he's going to be very, very good. He's in the minor leagues right now. Andrew Heaney.
Well, you wouldn't think with a team and the Angels, ever since the ownership of Arte Moreno has been here, they've thrown over $3 million every year. Would not figure ever that money's an issue, but sometimes it does happen.
On the left field line, but just foul. And their payroll this year, $146 million. That's 7th highest in Major League Baseball, and they've been in the top 7, top 6, top 5 pretty much every year for the last 6 or 7 years.
Good TV contract, local. Because when Albert Pujols was signed a couple of years ago, and this is now his 3rd or 4th, but Arte Moreno said thank you to their local TV provider. Basically helped bring Albert Pujols in for a 10-year contract. Kendall Graveman again throwing a lot of pitches as he did to Freeze. Great play by Fold in center field, but 9th pitch coming up again in this at bat.
And he missed inside and he walked him. So Graveman ahead in the count. Ibar's aboard for the 2nd time. And it could be a case too, Ray, just like Scioscia, where Bob Melvin, Kurt Young, maybe their patience is done now. At this point, you got a lead, and Graveman is not sharp.
Yeah. I mean, as a sinker ball pitcher, you're a ground ball away from getting two outs. But Dan Otero, also a sinker ball pitcher, and tonight with Jesse Chavez now, at least in the rotation for one start, we know Thursday, he is not available. And I think your assessment of that earlier was right on, because you're taking a long reliever out. You can't put Hahn on the disabled list, so basically playing short. And in a bullpen that's been struggling anyway. And it looks like it will be a reliever's night.
Missed again, 2-0 to C.J. Cron, who hit into a 4-6-3 double play. That's exactly what Graveman needs here. And Kurt Young is going to try to slow things down a little bit. Graveman has walked 2, struck out 2. He's given up 4 hits. And a couple of errors have been made behind him.
A lot of pitches to do it, too.
One of those errors was his own.
Maybe Davis is saying, let it hit to me, I'm good. And he has proven that he is definitely good with his ability to pick it.
So the meeting is over. Chris Iannetta is the on-deck hitter for the Angels. Missed again, and now it's 3-0. So Graveman is all out of whack right now.
And unfortunately, as a sinker ball pitcher, he's not throwing it close enough. The hitter might be swinging. And we've seen 2 hitters swing green light 3-0. CF Crone, who is very strong, also has the same green light.
Ibar, the big lead, and we've seen Ibar plenty over the years. And that is one thing he does. He gets way out there. I don't know that he was expecting a throw first. Look at how far he's out there.
You know what? He might have been running. We've seen guys run 3-0 and look like he was taking off, and a better throw might have gotten it.
And the pitch is outside. 4-pitch walk. And Graveman has walked back-to-back hitters to open up the 4th.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for Kendall Graveman. So he had a lead, but he cannot get out of the 4th inning. So it'll be a frustrating evening for Kendall Graveman. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Starting pitcher was very good, and Graveman ends up facing 2 hitters here in the 4th inning. He walks them both, so he's done 73 pitches, and so the bullpen's going to have to do extra work tonight. And it's going to start with Dan Otero. Otero off to a tough start. 7 hits in 4 innings. ERA at 6.75 through 5 games. He'll face Iannetta, Giovotella, and then Calhoun. Those are the next 3 hitters. 2 on, nobody out. And he's again looking for a ground ball.
Well, that's what he has to do, is just go back to his normal pitching, Dan Otero, and get the sinker and try to get the ground ball unless Iannetta's bunting.
He's not, and it's bounced in the hole. Simeon has it. His only play will be to third, and he throws there, and they get Ibar. So fielder's choice. He's getting out.
Well, great play by Simeon and by Brett Laurie, because the only thing might have done is gotten a force at second, still first and third, but bottom line, they make the good play. and get a big out of third base.
So here's the 9th place hitter, Giovitella. Kind of an open battle for the second base spot in spring training, and Giovitella won it. Grant Green was part of that battle. They picked up a player by the name of Josh Rutledge, who's with the Rockies. He was in that battle. Ended up Giovitella, who originally is with the Kansas City Royals. We saw him a little bit with the Royals.
Well, with Simeon going to third, and of course by going to second, double play still would have been ordered, but this is better because it's first and second again. Simeon home run to give the A's the extra run, and now gets the run at third, looking for a ground ball again from Otero, who at his best is a ground ball pitcher, and he's got a chance to pitch some innings tonight, and that's something the A's would love to see out of Dan Otero, because he is capable of pitching in long relief, especially if the sinker is working, as we know it can.
That one inside, so 2-1. Kind of strange. You always think about the A's bullpen, and especially last year, Gregerson, Cook, Doolittle, the guys who pitched the most out of that bullpen, and none of those guys are on the roster right now. There's a strike, good pitch, 2-2. Of course, Gregerson gone, Cook in the minor leagues, Doolittle on the DL.
Well, and everybody was slotted into certain roles because of that.
So the relievers' numbers, the ERA's very respectable at 3.11. And a big strikeout there for Otero.
That's a great sinker, two-seamer down and in, and that's exactly where he wants to throw it, where he wants to get exactly that. A ground ball on the left side for two, or a strikeout. Watch this ball take off down and in. That is a great pitch, and Giovitella swinging over it. The only problem that is happening, and the reason while the ERA just a little over 3, it's the fact that games late have not been held.
They've given up some big hits.
Right, you're accustomed to seeing the A's bullpen come in late and hold the lead. And that just hasn't been happening. It's yesterday, perfect example in the 8th inning. Royals scored 3. Friday night they scored 2 in the 8th inning. So, it's going to get better. And it's just a matter of guys feeling comfortable in the roles that they're in. And it's all trying to work itself out. And still, just game 13 or make it 14 now for the A's.
0-1 to Calhoun, who hits it hard but foul. So now Otero ahead 0-2. Crone at second, Iannetta at first. So Otero got a chance to do a nice job of getting out of this inning. Remember, the first 2 hitters walked. To pitch, high fastball struck him out. So nice job by Dan Otero, a little confidence builder for him. And the Angels strand a pair. We're going to the 5th inning from Anaheim, 5-3 Athletics.
area Hyundai dealers. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. All right. Top of the 5th, A's 5, Angels 3. As Billy Butler leads off against Jose Alvarez. Outside corner, first strike. So Brian, our stat man, dug up some information, Ray, to confirm what we thought about Jose Alvarez. He indeed pitched against the A's. In fact, he pitched twice in relief in a series at Detroit back in 2013. And neither of them were very good, and Moss hit a home run off.
A game in which Brandon Moss went deep both times against lefties.
Yep.
I remember when in talk after the game, Bob Melvin, as you can see the numbers and actually where he's Venezuelan born in Barcelona, 74 days in the big leagues. But Bob Melvin after the game said, I knew Jim Lita kept bringing those lefties in thinking I was going to pinch hit for Moss and get him out of the game, but I didn't. And he was so happy that Mossy hit home runs twice against those lefties.
Well, that was the series that the A's won the first 3 games and really knocked the Tigers around, and they had game 4 wrapped up, and Torrey Hunter hit the home run to
Grant Balfour's
Balfour.
walk-off, yeah. In a series that I thought the only of the 4 games the A's had a chance to win was against Verlander.
That's right.
Because he wasn't pitching that well, but Pfister and Verlander, I mean, they all were bad. Scherzer had a chance to pick up the loss on that Thursday and end up getting a no decision. I think he was going for win number 20 that year.
2-2 pitch, just missed inside. 3-2 to Butler, who has singled and doubled.
Well, the A's employing a left-handed hitting lineup tonight with the right-hander Shoemaker starting, so that's why Alvarez brought in out of the bullpen the lefty, and facing a lot of lefties in this game.
Close pitch again, and it's a walk.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. And that's the more. Every night on every device, blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Ike Davis steps up, sacrifice fly, and a line out to center for Davis. First pitch is a strike. The Astros and the Mariners are opening up a 3-game series tonight in Seattle. That game in the bottom of the 5th was Seattle leading 5-3. Wojciechowski and Iwakuma, the 2 pitchers.
So they brought back Wojciechowski.
Yep. That's the start of a 9-game trip for the Houston Astros. They'll be in Seattle, and they'll be in Oakland this weekend, and they go to San Diego. So the Astros will be on the road for a while.
Now, was there a pitcher got hurt for the Astros? When Wojciechowski was sent down, usually you have to stay 10 days before, unless there's an injury. So
and it was
somebody must have
Brad Peacock.
That's right, Peacock. So that was allowed him. Matter of fact, Peacock came up to start schedule for Wojciechowski, but he pitched the 4 innings out of the bullpen, sent him out, came back. So I know, talking to A.J. Hinch the next day, he said, can't be back. He just had the numbers or the options, couldn't use him. And Jeff Luhnow, the general manager, said, no, he's a good arm. He'll definitely be back. And he is there.
0-2 pitch. Hit the shallow center. Trout hustling in. And Trout grabs it. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Yeah, the Mariners won a wild game yesterday. They were trailing to the Rangers. In fact, the Mariners overcame 2 5-run deficits yesterday.
They were down 7-2, and they were down 10-5. And they scored 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. Nelson Cruz right in the middle of it all. Huge comeback win by the Mariners. Seattle 5-7 coming into tonight's game.
Better than 4-8, which is what they would have been had they not come back. And for a team that was projected to play the Nationals in the World Series, that's why they're hopeful that this is a beginning of the season slower start, which typically that's what happens the first couple of weeks of the season.
Ibar out at second base. That's the only play there. So fielder's choice, 2 outs. Well, always this time of year, 2 weeks into the season, so it's very early. There's always teams that are playing great out of the chute and teams that are struggling. See the Miami Marlins, who are 3-10, and they're supposed to be a playoff contender. Now start hearing rumors about Mike Redmond's job. It's tough to understand, but
well, it sounds like fortunate for him, the two gentlemen who've been taking over the front office like him versus Jeff Flory, the owner.
Milwaukee Brewers lost again. There's Mike Morin. Brewers are 2-11.
And they picked up Reddick's contract for 16. Picked up his option in spring training.
Giants have really struggled early. Can't seem to get anything going.
For a team that struggles, and we have heard about it, it is early in the season. If you don't try to win 3 games each day, you're okay.
That one's driven to center. Trout back. He's going to have room. He's got it side retired. Laurie is gone, and so are the A's. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It'll be Trout, Pujols, and Joyce. 5-3 A's lead. See him tomorrow versus the Astros. Not tomorrow, make that Friday versus the Astros at the O-Dot. Go get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an authentic fan sunglasses, and a cheer card, and also a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. It's the best deal in Bay Area baseball. Comcast Sportsnet's Authentic Fan Friday. So we will be back at the Coliseum on Friday. And it'll be those Astros in time. 6-game homestand. So Trout to lead it off. Dan Otero, a good 4th inning. Trout, Pujols, and Joyce. Davis coming over. And Davis caught it! Wow.
What a play. Have a night, Ike Davis. Have a night, Ike Davis. What a great play. He has picked it twice on the ground. And maybe reaching over, he's kind of grabbing his right hand with a glove hand, but reached right over and brought it back. What a great, oh, he banged his hand on the bench. Watch this as he leans over, catches it, and then there's the hand that he's banging on. But what a play by Ike Davis. Man.
Helps to be 6'5".
Yeah.
It's also nice to get Mike Trout out. So 1 out for Pujols, who's got a couple of singles. And it's 0-2. That would be great for Dan Otero's confidence to have a nice outing.
Watch where he bangs his hand. Right there. See that? It's a bench that they put up so pitchers or players in general can sit. But the back of that is all wood. And that's why he banged it as hard as he did.
Joyce to follow here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's kind of the way dugouts are now. Lots of room behind that bench where guys can sit in the back part of the dugout. What's ends up happening, Ray, is the players that are actually playing in the game usually sit in the back of the dugout,
That's right.
Lower benches, and the pitchers and guys who aren't playing sit up on the railing. Hit well. Fuld going back near the wall, and he's got it. 2 outs.
It's not how hard they hit them, it's where they hit them, and that's the deepest part of the park. And I tell you, Albert Pujols, say what you want about what he can or cannot do. He can swing the bat. This is such an easy swing. He could have had a home run, could have had 3 hits tonight. Was Canna backing him up?
Mark Canna's unbelievable. As Fuld caught that ball, Canna had run all the way to center field.
Yeah, to back him up.
That was awesome. Hey, nothing happening in left field, right?
That's right. Well, Derek Jeter made the great play. He said, what am I going to do? Stand around shortstop? I might as well be the second, third cutoff man. And
Canna wanted some action at center field.
You can see him constantly looking in the dugout, and Ty Waller is moving him every step.
Two and 1 to Joyce, who has grounded out. Was robbed of a hit by Ike Davis and struck out looking. Shallow center. Simeon out, Fuld in. Fuld calls him off. And a very nice inning for Dan Otero. 6th inning coming up. A's 5, Angels 3.
games this season. All fans park for free at these games. 500 tickets in the Plaza Reserve section are available for each Chevy Free Parking Tuesday for only $5. Purchase online at athletics.com/Tuesday and use promo code Chevy while supplies last.
Eric Sogard to lead it off against reliever Jose Alvarez, who already pitched 2 innings. Sogard, first pitch swinging, lines one right at Calhoun in right field. Sogard has hit 2 bullets tonight. He doesn't have anything. That's a little annoying if you're Eric Sogard.
And all these guys say, nice swing, nice going. I don't want to hear that. I've made 3 outs tonight. And actually, the first one was a double play because he hit it so hard right to Pujols, he doubled off Laurie.
So the hey Sogi keep swinging it. That's not what he wants to hear.
No, you don't want to hear that.
Or they'll start falling for you.
Yeah. Why don't you bloop one in there, kid, and make up for it.
Iannetta's going to have to hurry. He throws, and Pujols digs it out. So Iannetta to Pujols. Simeon is retired on a check swing.
Well, it was a check swing, and Alvarez couldn't get to it, so nice play by Iannetta, even better by Pujols. And as we were talking earlier, Pujols can swing the bat. He can also pick it at first base, and it's amazing what health does for you. And a couple years ago, he barely made first base, shut his season down, and he has come back strong, over 500 home runs. And I would say, first ballot Hall of Fame.
Well, it was... I mean, a couple of years ago, it was hard to watch him run.
Yeah.
You felt bad for him. And now he looks like he's healthy. It's a healthy cross-up right here.
Yeah, how can you cross up somebody with one sign? There's nobody on second, and Iannetta, though, he's looking for a breaking ball. Oh, here's a fastball. Let's see. 1 is a fastball, 2 is a curve, 3 is a slider. Let's talk it about. Maybe he can't see. Maybe that was it.
That's a slider, and it misses.
You see it with Pujols' daughter evidently is a very good gymnast.
Yes.
And there was talk that maybe his last year of his contract, he would give it up to go watch her maybe perform in the Olympics. Don't think so.
No.
I think, and he kind of laughed. And so he said, well, we'll think about that.
His contract goes through 2021.
Right.
So he's going to be here a while.
And it's pretty healthy contract per annual basis.
And Full hits one high right center field, but Calhoun is going to get there on the warning track. Makes the catch. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jose Alvarez. He's done a nice job. Bottom of the 6th coming up.
Inning freeze with a bloop single to center field. That would bring home 2. He tried to go to second base. A nice throw from Fold to Vogt to second, and then Stephen Vogt with A's down 2-1, a monster 3-run home run, his second 3-run home run of the season. And then Marcus Semien, a breaking ball down the left field line, his second home run, and that was it for Shoemaker after just pitching into the fourth inning. So Dan Otero's come on, as Alvarez has, and we'll tell you that this, you can find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world.
So Dan Otero, his third inning of work. Shown just 21 pitches so far. That one's hit high in the air, playable. Sam Fold's been busy tonight, and that's the first out.
Okay, you're a football guy, and I know this. I just was watching today and hearing that camps have opened. Did Tim Tebow actually sign with the Eagles? And I say that because it's interesting that his quarterback coach is the former pitching coach and former major league pitcher Tom House.
Tom House, yeah.
He's the one who caught
in football.
He's the one who caught Hank Aaron's 715th home run in the bullpen for Atlanta.
Wow. And Ibar shoots one left field line, and he's going to try for two. Canna gets it in quickly, but not quickly enough for Ibar.
That's his style right there.
Yes, it is. Bring the third baseman in and then slap it right by.
Slap it by. Got him an inside-out swing. Dan Otero left it towards the middle, but a late swing and almost an intentional late swing. And with Alfredo Griffin, his first base coach, was one of the best slap bunters. As he would go to bunt and then slap the ball left field. Ibar, a similar type player. There is Alfredo Griffin, former co-rookie of the year.
Here's C.J. Cron.
He's been with Mike Scioscia with the Dodgers. He played with the A's, and ever since Mike Scioscia has been manager, he's been his first base and infield coach.
Sinker a little low, 2-0. I think Tim Tebow, we know what he's all about, playing in Philadelphia. It's an interesting mix.
Yeah, but I just thought it's interesting that Tom House, who was the first pitching coach I ever saw who used a football to teach pitchers how to throw the ball correctly.
Fold and Reddick grabs it, and Ibar's going to try for third. The throw is just a little bit late. Short hops Lori.
Oh, we saw earlier with one out, a tag attempt, a ball off the wall. This is when you can tag. When you know the ball is in the park, somebody's camping under it. Ibar has speed, and Reddick jumped in front of Sam Fold and said, "I've got the arm. Let me try it out," and a little bit offline.
So now a runner at third and 2 outs. And it's Chris Iannetta. Iannetta takes the first pitch right there for a strike. Iannetta a walk, and he reached on a fielder's choice. Into a very slow start. He's got 4 hits in 35 at bats. Iannetta, another Angels position player who's going to be a free agent. And Joyce and Freeze. There he has it. Throws in time, and Otero gets out of it, and the Angels do not score. We're on to the 7th from the Big A, 5-3 A's lead.
would say emoji. Emoji t-shirt at the Coliseum Saturday, April 25th. That's when the A's take on the Houston Astros. 20,000 fans will receive the creative t-shirt courtesy of Grant Thornton LLP, which features Sean Doolittle, Coco Crisp, and Sonny Gray. And we'll have to get an extra small one for JR since he's asking for one, Cap. We'll have to remember to put him on the list. Extra small for JR.
Yeah. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Mike Moore, the right-hander, comes in. Had a nice season last year, making his 7th appearance this year. So he takes over for Jose Alvarez, who went 3 innings, no hits, no runs, a walk, and a strikeout. So Alvarez did what you're supposed to do as a long reliever, keep your team in the game.
Well, Dan Otero's doing the same thing, Cap, which is great. And I've got him at 29 pitches in his 3 innings, and it would be nice to see him be able to go back out because he is pitching so great, and maybe he can. And it's not so much the number of pitches for these guys, it's how many times they sit down and get back up and go to the mound. But Dan Otero very accustomed to doing that, and obviously tonight doing a tremendous job.
First pitch to Canny, hit a good rip, fouled it straight back. Some games played earlier today. The Patriots Day game in Boston, which starts in the morning. It's an 11 a.m. start back in Boston, and the Red Sox beat the Orioles 7-1, and it was nasty weather in Boston. In fact, they only played 7 innings.
Just going to ask you because I stopped it after 5, and it was pretty
they didn't
raw.
go much longer than that. It was ugly, but anyways, when it's all said and done, the Red Sox win, and they go to 8-5. On the year. They beat the Orioles. Swing, gonna miss 1-2. White Sox beat the Indians 4-3. 4 in the bottom of the 9th in Chicago. Indians took a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 9th, and the White Sox scored 4. And that may be worth seeing how Hawk Harrelson called the game winner.
Mercy.
Good pitch, strike 3 call. So Canna strikes out for the 3rd time, and Morin, who is not a very hard thrower, but he's got pitches like that.
As a changeup, and bottom dropped out of it, and differential in his fastball and changeup is considerable, 15 to 18 miles per hour, which is pretty impressive, and that's why kind of froze Mark Canha.
Here's Vogt, a walk, a 3-run homer, and a fly ball to the left. 4th homer of the year for Vogt. The Tigers beat the Yankees 2-1.
Tigers keeping pace, and the Royals have to.
Tigers now 11-2 with that win. Simon beats Sabathia. So Alfredo Simon, one of the pitchers the Tigers acquired to kind of replace Scherzer and Porcello. He's 3-0. Big guy. He's pitched for the Reds. Fastball, strike, 2-1. Crazy game in Seattle is now 5-5, bottom of the 6th, the Astros and the Mariners.
Brian sent a note down saying Orlando hit another triple for the Royals. 5 triples.
Paulo Orlando.
First 7 hits.
Saw him over the weekend. Vogt gets jammed, pops it up to Ibar. So that's 2 outs. So a lot of people surprised by what Alex Rodriguez is doing. It's been a terrific start to the season. Coming in today, Rodriguez hitting .316, got 4 home runs. believe even the Yankees are surprised.
He had a year off to rest.
That's true. He did have a involuntary rest period.
It's not easy to miss a full year, though, at this level and come back and do that. But he obviously kept himself in shape. The Yankees, as surprised they might be, they have to be very happy to get that kind of production.
One-0 pitch to Butler is outside. I bring him up because I just looked at some of the guys who are hot, having great first 2 weeks of the season. Abad is throwing now for the A's. Nelson Cruz, of course, 8 home runs in his last 8 games. And that one missed, and it's 3-0. Maybe the guy in the American League who's having the best year of all is Adam Jones from the Orioles. Yeah. Jones is hitting nearly 450 with 16 RBIs in the first couple weeks of the season. Adam Jones. Taken all the way in their first strike is Billy Butler, ready to go now on 3-1. Butler a single, a double, and he has walked, so he's been on base all 3 times. And now it's 3-2. See, 82 miles an hour from Mike Moran. Payoff pitch, and Butler hits a one-hopper to Ibar. Ibar flips it across, and Moran has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So the last hit for the A's was the Simeon home run back in the 4th inning, but they lead 5-3 as it's the 7th inning stretch. To 3, and Dan Otero back out there. Boy, what a job he has done. He faces Giovotella, Calhoun, and Trout.
That was just pitch number 30 for him. Remember, he came in with 2 runners on via the walk in the 4th inning. And he has retired everybody since, and trying to do the same here. Abad, the lefty, and Scribner, the righty, are loosening in the A's bullpen if needed.
Giovotella taking his time
and thinking he's got that nasty sinker down and in. He struck me out the first time. Is he going to throw it again? He just threw me a slider.
It's that one into the 2nd level.
Giovitella, a ground out and that strikeout that Ray's talking about.
Slider.
And there it is, down and away.
A big cheer here in Anaheim is the Ducks on an overtime, 5-4. So
wow, they're up 3-0 on
that's
the Winnipeg Jets
at the pond over there. So they were showing the hockey score on the big board here.
And that's a strikeout, and Otero has now struck out 3.
How about that? Giovitella got the sinker down on it and he swung over it. And then this is what Otero does. He goes back with the fastball away, takes it exactly the opposite of where he struck him out the first time.
So here's the leadoff man, Cole Calhoun. Calhoun, a couple of strikeouts and a lineout. Swing and a miss. Changeup and a good one. Otero has allowed 1 hit, that double by Ibar last inning. About to throw pitch number 36. Strike on the inside corner, and Calhoun is behind in the count 0-2. Fastball up, so maybe now sinker down and away.
He goes slider from back foot. I mean, there's a lot of things the way Otero's pitching right now. Stephen Vogt can put anything down he wants. It's a high fastball. Actually got Calhoun. His that first inning struck him out on the high fastball to end that inning.
Count even 2-2 with Trout in the on-deck circle, so that's reason enough to do what you got to do to make sure you get Calhoun out. There's a ball loose way out in left center field.
That's somebody warming up. That's an errant throw.
That's a seriously errant throw.
And had to go through a bullpen and over some grass.
Down the hill, near the rocks, by the water. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Calhoun strikes out for the 3rd time.
That is unbelievable pitching by Dan Otero. Not unexpected, because we know he's capable and to pull the string on a changeup. He used everything and just keeps going. And again, his pitching out so low. And remember, he came into the 4th inning with 2 on and nobody out. 2 via the walk. And here we are in the 7th inning, and he's still pitching. Great play by Ike Davis to get Trout out in his first at bat against Otero. So pop up to lead off the 4th inning, 5th inning.
Sinker just a bit low to Trout. Trout scored a couple runs tonight. Reached on a single and reached on an error. Hits that one hard. What a play by Laurie. Straightens up, fires across in time. Well, the A's may have 2 errors, but they have played terrific defense tonight as well. Laurie, what a play.
Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. Heck of a play to end the last half inning by Brett Lawrie.
A couple of strikeouts by Dan Otero, and then a bullet pick at Lawrie. And I'll tell you what, he can play some defense, and he has shown that, and he's also shown a very accurate, strong arm. Acrobatic play at third, but the perfect throw to Ike Davis, and you get at the very tough Mike Trout. You have Pujols leading off the 8th inning. That's what you like.
New pitcher for the Angels. It's Fernando Salas. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Second year that Salas has been with the Angels. 29 years old, from Mexico. Salas came over with David Freese from the Cardinals in that trade a couple years ago. It was for Peter Borges and a young outfielder named Rando Grajcek, who's been in the big league some with St. Louis. Salas appeared in 57 games last year for the Angels, and he was 5-0. 2 pitch is hit hard right at Giovatello, the second baseman. So Ike Davis is retired. He's 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly.
It's good to see David Eckstein hitting the house tonight. His wife threw out the first pitch. I guess she's involved in the Star Wars production. And David Eckstein, of course, a member of the 2002 Angels, and went on to St. Louis. And great with the Cardinals. And what a gritty player for his size, yes, considering wasn't that huge player with a lot of power, but he was, tell you what, talking about an igniter for the Angels. He'd get on base and cause great things to happen.
0-1 to Reddick, excuse me, Ray.
Oh, just shortstop really didn't have a great arm, but
just got it there in time.
Kind of like Omar Vizquel towards the end of his career.
Just get it there in time. Good pitch there by Salas.
Well, Mike Scioscia, although he's not doing what he did last year when he lost Garrett Richards and some of the things didn't work out in the rotation, he had a whole bunch of relievers, and bullpen this year, with the exception of, there's some names that have been here before. Manny Pistano they got late from Cleveland. Joe Smith they signed a long-term deal. So they've got some guys in the bullpen that they can bring in and use, and Scioscia's going back and forth tonight. He's got one more lefty in the bullpen and a couple more righties, 3 more righties.
Good fastball there, had some movement, and he gets the strikeout to Salas. So Reddick is 0 for 3.
Took something off for the changeup, and then came back with a fastball elevated. Good pitch for Reddick to try to go to left field. He did open up on the swing though, but no contact.
So 2 away for Lawrie, who has a single, a strikeout, and a fly ball to center field. Slider for a strike. A's with 7 hits. The Angels with 5. A's have not had a hit since the 4th inning. Simeon's home run. Swing and a miss. So fastball, velocity wise 90-91, but a little up.
Yep.
And like you said, it's following an off-speed pitch, which certainly helps. And that one right on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Good inning for Fernando Salas. So it's the bottom of the 8th from the Big A. A's still leading 5-3. Game summary is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 5-7-2 for the Athletics, 3-5-0 for the Angels. And neither starting pitcher was very sharp. They were both knocked out early. The big hit in the game, a 3-run shot by Stephen Vogt that came in the third inning. Albert Pujols with a couple of hits. And we're going to the bottom of the 8th inning, and we got a new pitcher, Evan Scribner.
Well, Evan Scribner was told in Kansas City, you might be asked to get up a little bit later than in the past. Well, tonight's the night, because this is the 8th inning. Seems to be the critical inning for the Athletics. And Evan Scribner would try to come in and do exactly what Dan Otero did for 4, and he was outstanding.
Here's something else to think about, Ray, and the manager talked about this. Gentry now in left field. Manager talked about this before the game. Don't be surprised if you see Tyler Clippard for more than 3 outs.
Yeah.
Only because Clippard he's only pitched in 4 games. And if something happens here in the 8th, and Clippard is your closer, and Clippard is already warming up. So Bob Melvin's just saying, I want to get Clippard rolling here a little bit. He just hasn't pitched very much, and he's our closer. So we'll see what happens, but don't be surprised if a runner gets on. Maybe you go to Clippard if there's 1 or 2 outs.
And for Dan Otero, a great sinker ball pitcher. Saw the changeup. Then Evan Scribner comes in. He's added the cut fastball, good curveball, and a very good straight fastball.
Yeah, Scribner's looked really good so far.
So you got the different type of pitcher following Dan Otero.
Laurie ranges to his left. And that's the first out. Sounded like a broken bat.
And there's your cut fastball off the end of the bat. Don Baylor, I thought it was interesting as a hitting coach. And like I said, he was a very good hitter. He could steal bases, do a lot of different things. And he says he tells his hitters that if you're getting this pitch, the cutter, you better jump on it and get it before it cuts.
Sure.
Because if you don't, that's what's going to happen. And sure enough, the cutter, the idea is not to be the big slider, but Baylor played at a time that really didn't have the cutter. But he's seen enough to know that it breaks just enough to take it off the sweet part of the bat. And that's why you have to get it before it cuts.
Joyce swings at the first pitch, and he grounds out. So Matt Joyce, hitting in the cleanup spot, is 0 for 4, and Scribner hits the first 2 outs. So you may not need Clippard here. 4 pitches, 2 outs, and here's David Freese. I think the most important part of as this game goes on now is you do not want to see Trout and Pujols again in this game.
Another good note from Brian about the A's bullpen and the success they've had. Just the 1 double from Ibar, 1 for 15.
So a quick 0-1 to Freese, who's 1 for 3, 2-run single in the first. Astros and Mariners still tied 5-5. Bottom of the 7th now in Seattle.
There's Uncle Charlie. Is the cutter, the fastball, and then throws a curveball for a strike, and Freese out in front. So quickly 0-2. 3 pitches to Pujols, 1 to Joyce, 3rd coming up to Freese.
Liner right into the glove of Davis, side retired. So Scribner has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So the bullpen's been terrific, and we're going to the 9th. A's leading by 2.
California is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So 5-3 is the score. It's been 5-3 since the fourth inning. Both bullpens have been very, very good. There's Fernando Salas back out there. He had just a 9-pitch top of the 8th inning. 3 up through now with a couple of strikeouts. Then he faces Sogard, Simeon, and Fold in the top of the 9th. And Sogard slices one down the left field line. Fair ball. Bounces off the sidewall, and Sogard has a leadoff double. So he's looking for some insurance. What a night for him, huh?
About 9 to 12 pitches per inning for a pitcher. How about for Dan Otero to come in with 2 runners on via the walk and then throw just 42 pitches in 4 innings. He gives up 1 hit.
He's the MVP tonight so far. Simeon steps in. He will try to get Sogard to third. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Just read an interesting note, Ray, where the Chicago Cubs are going to call up Addison Russell to the big leagues. How about that? Well, they're not messing around.
Where are they going to play?
Second base.
Oh, second. I was going to say, because
second base for now. Right field. Sogard tags. Calhoun's got a good arm. Here comes the throw to third, and Sogard is safe.
Well, Freese deking all the way, but I don't think a deke is going to help that because Sogard knows that Calhoun has the arm. So does Mike Gallego. And Freese was standing very upright like a statue, waiting for the throw and then dropped the tag very quickly. But Sogard tagged perfectly and got the head first slide in, got the head on the bag. So
he showed off the good arm, but just a little bit too far out there. So here's Fold infield in. First pitch is a fastball high. Gentry is the on-deck hitter. Fold had a big rip, fouled it straight back. In the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Ibar, Crone, and Iannetta. And Clippard's been throwing for quite a while. He's definitely ready. So 2-1 now to Fold.
then it came out quickly as Clippard gets loose, and Freese wasn't a third, though. He'd have been throwing to Sogard and Mike Gallego, the umpire, but nobody from the Angels at the position at third.
Could have a play. Joyce has it. Here comes Sogard to throw to the plate and way off line. So Fold gets the job done, and it's a 6-3 A's lead.
Well, we talk about textbook, and if you're an outfielder with a ball hit and in the air that long, you don't want to get caught back on your back foot. You want to get behind it. Sam Fold did it earlier in center. You get behind the ball, you come after the ball. And Joyce got a little bit on his heel, and then you can see the throw coming in. Really not that much of a chance to throw out Sogard, even though it wasn't that deep. But it's all the technique and how you get behind the ball to try to throw.
So Fold gets his 4th RBI. A couple of sacrifice flies for the A's tonight. And a couple of home runs.
And a 6-3 lead going to the 9th inning. Gentry hits a high pop-up down the right field line. And it's going to be the second baseman, Giovatello, who grabs it. Side retired. A's get an insurance run. Tyler Clippard's coming in. He's looking for his first save as an Athletic.
Defense, what a play by Ike Davis, a little backflip to Graveman, and then he robs another one here, a little feed. Graveman, though, not able to handle that one, but how about this play into the seats? Mike Trout, great hitter. Ike Davis over, reaches, catches the ball, bangs his hand against the seat. But 3 outstanding defensive plays tonight for Ike Davis, a Honda player of the game, and very deservedly. Stephen Gold, a big home run, but hey, you have to have pitching and defense. The A's have gotten it from Dan Otero, Evan Scribner, and now they hope to do the same and get the same from Tyler Clippard, who makes his 5th appearance and looking for his first save. The only save recorded by the Athletics so far was Jesse Chavez, as he went 3 1/3 innings, 3 2/3 innings in Kansas City to complete the shutout by Jesse Hunt. So Tyler Clippard taking over the closer role until Sean Doolittle comes back. Going to have a fleece blanket for Dr. Doolittle. Paying homage to that pose, but it'd be nice to see that pose on the mound again and get him back in the bullpen.
Ibar to lead it off, followed by Crone and Iannetta here in the bottom of the 9th. A's trying to grab game 1 of this 4-game series, pick up their 7th win of the year. First pitch to Ibar shows bunt. It's a little bit up and in. So Tyler Clippard trying for his first save of the year. The A's have one save. That was Jesse Chavez, who got it with over 3 innings of work in Kansas City.
Well, he's going to have to throw a strike because Ibar is the type of hitter that will make him throw a strike. And I think, as you said earlier, Trout and Pujols, they have to turn the lineup over, and definitely don't want to do that. But this is on the way to Ibar reaching base.
So 3-0. Ibar has been on base all 3 times. Reached on an error, a walk, and a double. And that one missed inside. It's a 4-pitch walk leading off the bottom of the lineup. Well, Know It All with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. One of the highlights from this game, all the highlights from the Warriors and the Pelicans game too, and the reaction to the Sharks mutually parting of ways with their head coach. How about that? Really? Here's Crone. First pitch is that changeup that floats in there for a strike to Cron, who has hit into a double play, walked, and hit a fly ball to right field.
If that's a pitch you rely on, you need to throw it. He tried it to Ibar, threw it for a ball. First pitch to Cron, probably looking fastball. Gets a changeup instead.
Graveman for 3+, Otero for 4, Scribner for 1, and now Clipper. Swing and a miss. There it is again. 79 miles per hour, and it's a funky pitch. It just kind of floats up there.
Because it comes out of his hand, he gives all this motion, the legs, the arms, and then pulls a string, the circle changeup.
And there it was again. He threw 3 straight to Cron, all the exact same miles per hour. And there's a strikeout.
Okay. Why not? Because you get a hitter swinging, thinking he's not going to do it again. He's not going to do it again. And you keep calling it. Right over the top. Long stride. Long over the top delivery. And you pull the string. So 1 unsuccessful to Ibar, the 4-pitch walk. 3 perfectly thrown changeups to Cron.
First pitch to Ionetta is popped up. Here comes Fold. Fold squeezes it. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Game 2 of this 4-game series here in Anaheim. Drew Pomeranz and Hector Santiago, couple of left-handers. Our coverage will start at 6:30 with A's pregame live, and then 7:05 first pitch from the Big A. And afterward, you get complete A's coverage on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com, the home of A's baseball. It's Comcast Sportsnet. So tomorrow night, Santiago Pomeranz. There's Drew, ready to go. Another night game for you on Wednesday, and then a 4 o'clock game on Thursday, where we head home. Ibar runs, pitches a strike. Ibar will ease into second base. The defensive indifference, no stolen base for Eric Ibar. A couple of strikeouts tonight for Giovitella and a ground out. So he takes that change up, and it drops just out of the strike zone. Got to be a very difficult pitch to take. He swings at that one, and now 1-2. So Clippard trying to wrap it up. Quick look by Clippard, and that one in the dirt, blocked nicely by Stephen Vogt. A's post game live coming up after the game.
Vogt, runner in second. Great block. Good thing to work on. Marcus Jensen continues to work with them. We saw yesterday with Josh Feckley doing a great job. Stephen Vogt continues tonight after having the day off yesterday.
Good take by Giovitella. He almost took that like he knew that was coming.
Does he think he's going to get 1-3-2? He might. But Tyler Clippard might just go after it too with a fastball.
Three-two pitch. Hit high and foul. Just to our right, second level.
It was a fastball. Giovitelli perhaps thinking change up, so it's a little bit late on the swing. They're the two guys who have done a great job. 5 innings between those two. Otero 4, Scribner 1. Clipper trying to finish it.
Hit high in the air, down the left field line, and just foul. Cole Calhoun is the on-deck hitter. Another 3-2 pitch. Straight back. It was that changeup. But it was a little up. Giovantel fouled it straight back.
Important thing here in this at bat to throw a strike. 3-2, make him swing the bat, make him earn his way on if he does get on. Falling behind, 9th pitch coming up. He's just in a protect mode now on 3-2.
And he missed low, and a pretty good at bat by Giovantel. So a couple of walks here in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it is going to get the tying run to the plate in Cole Calhoun with Trout in the on-deck circle. So I'd say this is a pretty big at-bat.
It's a huge at-bat, and tough night for Calhoun. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but all that could change. And that's why the insurance run in the top of the 9th. Sogard with a double, got him over, got him in.
So the crowd tonight, 35,228. A fair amount of them have headed home. The ones that are here try and make some noise. Just inside to Calhoun. Calhoun has struck out 3 times and lined to short. And there's a shot foul. Alfredo Griffin has to duck out of the way.
You like the fact that Clippard has been in this spot, having been the closer for the Nationals a couple years ago. But it's still nerve-wracking for all watching because a couple of guys get on base via the walk.
And there's the good one. And now it's 1-2.
Not only a great pitch being a changeup, but also the location down and away. Calhoun has one thing on his mind. He tried to do it with the pitch he pulled foul past Alfredo Griffin, but if Tyler Clippard could throw that same pitch another 2 or 3 times, it could be ideal.
Little flare. Gentry coming in. Gentry coming in, and he's got it, and that's the ball game. So Clippard gets Calhoun. And the A's take game 1 of this 4-game series. Dan Otero was sensational. 4 shutout innings out of the bullpen, and this is how it ended. Gentry using that great speed, tracks it down. And there's your winning pitcher, Dan Otero.
Well, they were hopeful, weren't they? Because they thought one swing of the bat, we don't want that to happen. And Tyler Clippard gets his first save, and all good things happening for the Athletics and getting a win in the first game of the series, and for a game that started out to be what everybody at least hoped would be a pitcher's duel, it did with the bullpens because they were outstanding, although the starting pitchers were not as good as anticipated.
And Stephen Vogt, the hitting hero, of course, the 3-run homer that gave the A's the lead, but indeed the bullpen